Hello, and welcome to another X-Pro tutorial for SolidWorks modeling. Today we will be making a model of this pin branch that has a sliding jaw, and we will be making a fully functional assembly in which we can slide these jaws upwards and downwards. We're going to start by creating the base. After that, we will make a sliding jaw. In the end, we will create the pins. And finally, put this all together in assembly, and we're going to check out how to work with mates in the assembly. Let's begin creating by opening a new part. I will be using millimeters for modeling. Let's sketch the right plane by right-clicking Sketch. I'm going to start by making the center line from the origin to the right. I will make this line 87.5 millimeters. And let's draw another one downwards, let's say 458 millimeters. Also draw a circle on the bottom, which will be 33 millimeters in diameter. And then we're going to draw the shape of the branch base, something like this. Double-click to interrupt the command. Let's make another line here. Now let's draw from the circle. And now we have to add two arcs that connect these 4 points. I will select 3-point arc. Now we have to add some relations and dimensions to make this sketch fully defined. I will say that the center of this line and the origin are vertical, the same for this one, except this one that will be horizontal. These 2 points are horizontal and symmetric with this center line. I'll do the same here. Once more, for these 2 points, let's add some dimensions. This will be 38.5. This is 18 and this is 23. This should go up and it's 2 millimeters. This is 40. The arc is 120 millimeters. From here to this line, it will be 70 millimeters, and from the origin to this line, 308. This is supposed to be a 45-degree angle. And here too. Okay, this is already set. And let's add another dimension here. We'll say that this is 33 millimeters. Now we have a fully defined sketch, except that we have 2 contours. The first one is the circle, and the second one will be this shape here. So we have to make this one continuous contour. We will have to use a trim tool to remove these axis lines. So let's go to Trim Part, Trim, Keep Trimmed Entities. Let's just drag over this upper half of the circle. And there we go. We have a fully defined sketch and a closed contour. Let's extrude this. So let's go to Features Extrude Boss. Let's say for Direction 1, Midplane and 8 millimeters. Let's save this. I will call it Base. Now it's time to sketch this surface here. Right-click, Sketch. I will just say Normal too. Let's draw a corner rectangle from this point to this point here. And I'll add a circle in the middle of this line with a diameter of 15 millimeters. Let's use a trim tool again to remove these lines here. I have to say that these 2 lines are equal. There we go. We have a fully defined sketch. Let's extrude this by going to Extrude Boss. I will select Blind for Direction 1 and type in 2 millimeters. Let's make another sketch here. Right-click, Sketch Normal 2. Let's draw a center rectangle from the origin to this point. There we go. We already have a fully defined sketch, so no dimensions are necessary, only 2 relations. Let's go to Features, Extrude. I will select 4 millimeters blind for Direction 1. Now we will make a small cut here. Let's make a sketch on this surface. I will draw a center line from the center of this circle, all the way to this line here. Select a center point from the middle of this line. I will make this slot 195 millimeters long and 22 millimeters wide. Now we have to cut this shape into the part by going to Features Extrude Cuts. For Direction 1, let's select Blind, and I will use 2 millimeters. Let's confirm this command. Now I want these 3 features that we made, this Boss Extrude 2, Boss Extrude 3, and this cut extrude to be the same on the other side of the part. We will use mirror features to get this done in just one step. So let's go to the mirror. For the mirror face, I will select the right plane, and for features to mirror, I will select the boss extrude 2 plus extrude 3 and cut extrude 1, and let's confirm this command. And as you can see, we have a symmetric part. Now, let's add some fillets to this part to make it smoother. So let's go to Features, Fillet, and for the first one, I will use a symmetric 5mm fillet. I will select this edge here. Let's confirm this command. Now we will add fillet to the edges. It will be 1mm. I want it here too. Let's add it inside here and on the other side as well. We'll add another fillet and select these edges. I will just select these surfaces, and SolidWorks will automatically add fillets to all of these edges. This one cannot be selected. Even if we try the surface, it can't be selected. This will have to be added in a single separate feature. This one can be selected. Sometimes for fillets, you have to select some edges before others for the feature to work. Let's see here. These are left to be listed. The site also. Let's try selecting the surface. And the other one. There are some sharp edges left here. So I cannot make these fillets in this feature. Let's confirm this command, and let's try adding the same fillet 1mm here. And here, we have completed filtering the edges. Let's add a 10mm hole. Here, let's go to the features Hole Wizard. The hole standard can be dim drill sizes, 10mm. And I was like, for all, I will also check this near site counter sink and fire site. Let's type in 11mm for both. Now we have to go to the Position tab, select this surface, and then just hover over this half circle, and it will appear. Here we can just add the hole and confirm the command. Let's add that same hole to this surface. Here. Let's go to the Hole Wizard. By default, SolidWorks saved our last settings. We just have to go to the position side of the surface, and let's connect this hole to the origin and confirm the command. There we go. There is one more thing left to be done. Let's add a double hole here. Let's go to the Hole Wizard. For hole type light, select the hole standard is dim, but here under type, we will select double holes. I will select 4mm and condition through all and change these settings to 4.5 for both near site and far site counter sink. Let's go to a position like this surface. I'll, again, just hover over this half circle and connect the hole to this small plus. Let's add an appearance to this part. I will go here in the right and select this ball that says Appearances. I will go here to the drop-down menu and select Metal. And let's see if we can find something that will suit us. For example, metal, nickel. Let's say polish nickel. Let's drag it over and select this part icon. Now we have made the base completely. Let's save this part. And let's go to a new part so that we can make the jaw. So let's go to Part. I will start in the base by sketching on the right plane, right-click, Sketch. Let's first add 2 center lines from the origin. The first one will be 87.5, another one that goes downwards. This line here will be 130.5. Now, I will make the shape of the sliding jaw. So let's make several lines. I will interrupt the command. Here's another one. Again, I will click to interrupt the command. Let's add 2 3-point arcs and another one here too. Add more lines. Let's drag this. Here I will connect the center of this line to the origin. This line will be 23.5mm. This line 16. I will move this one to the left. This one is 20mm. From here to here, we have 23mm. This arc is 85mm in radius. The other one is 70. Let's drag this back a bit and this one upwards. Also, I will add another corner rectangle here. Now we can add some more dimensions. So from this line here to here, we have 51mm. From this point to the line, we have 21. This is 41 from the origin to this line. From here to here, we have 27. From this line to the center line, it's 7.5. Here, we have 14.5. The distance between these two lines is 21.5. And the same here. The last thing we have to add is the distance from this line to the origin, which is 66 millimeters. And there we go. We have a fully defined sketch. Let's extrude this at 16 millimeters. So let's go to Features Extrude for Direction 1. Let's select Mid-Plane and type in 16 millimeters. Confirm this. If you want to change the background of these three modeling areas, you can do it by going here to Apply Things, drop down the menu, and change it as you wish. For this tutorial, I will use plain white, so you can change it in whatever you like. Okay, let's save this part. I will name it Jaw and save it. Now we have to make a small cut. Let's sketch this surface here. I will connect these 2 points with a line. And what we can do is convert these 4 lines by selecting them. And in the Sketch tab, let's go to Convert Entities. Now we have them as schedules, but we have to remove this axis. So, let's go to Trim. And there we go. We have a fully defined sketch. Let's go to Features Extrude Cut. We will do it blind 4 millimeters. We can mirror this feature to the other side of the part, so let's select the right plane, go to the mirror, and choose, for example, this phase. You can see that we have a small text that says, Cut Extrude 1 when I hover over this area. Also, before we keep going, I have to select Features to mirror. Let's select this area on this surface. Now I want to make a hole that goes for the entire height of this part. Let's make a sketch on this surface. I will click space and look from the above. And let's make a sketch that looks like this. Let's add some dimensions. This will be 10.5 and this will be 39. I want this rectangle to be in the middle of this line that I drew in Boss Extrude 1. So I want the square to be centered around this line. The way I can do it is by adding 2 center lines here, or just 1 will be enough. Let's select the middle of the center line and this line here. And there we go. The sketch is not fully defined, and I see that the rectangle is centered around the center line. Let's extrude this through all for direction 1. Let's select through all. Now I can hide this sketch. Let's save the parts. We can now add some fillets, like we did to the base. We can add a 5 millimeter fillet here. Confirm this command. Let's go to the rest of the edges. I can select these 4 surfaces here, this one here also. I can select the ones inside as well. Let's see if I can select this one too. This is enough, and this on here too. Make sure this lower area of the part is fully filleted. So let's add some more fillets here. Let's go here first, and this surface. And now we can select these as well. Confirm this feature now, and let's try to add a fillet to these 2 edges that are remaining. There we go. Excellent. Now all the edges have fillets on them. We can add a 10 millimeter hole like we did on the base, so let's go to the Features, Hole Wizard. And you can select a hole for a type. That's a drill. We can select 10 millimeters in this drop-down menu for the size of the drill. For near sight and far sight countersinks, put 11 millimeters. Let's go to the Position tab. Select this surface here, and we can just connect this all to the origin point. There we go. We can add appearance as we did for the base, and we are finished with drawing the sliding jaw. The next thing we have to make is the pin. So let's make another new part. I will sketch the front plane. Let's start by using a line command, and let's make a pin shape. It should look something like this. I will add a small center line. Let's make it 10 millimeters here to help me with dimensioning. And let's start. The total height will be 28 millimeters. This diameter will be 4 millimeters. This one will be 16, and this one here will be 10. This is the one that will go into the halls of the base and jaw. Let's press escape. This is 19 millimeters. This site will be 3 millimeters. There we go. The sketch is fully defined. Let's also change the appearance, actually the background, to plain white. and we can use Revolve Boss to make this pin. It has automatically selected this center line as the axis of revolution, and I just confirmed this command. We can add some color to this pin, for example, something like this. And we can add a 1mm fillet to these 4 surfaces, just to make the part look smoother. We didn't save this. So let's go and save it. I will name it pin. And now we can start making the assembly. We will do it by going to the base. Let's go to this drop-down menu and select Make Assembly from Part. Here. In the Open Documents, I will select the base and just press OK. Now, as you can see, we have this F, which means that the part is fixed and that its front plane is connected to the assemblies. Front plane, top to top, right to right. Now we can save this. I'll name it Jaw Assembly. And we can insert the jaw. And now we have to add some mates that are actually like relations that we use in sketching. In assembly, we use mates. By the way, there are 2 ways you can add mates in an assembly. The first one is going to the Assembly tab and then going to Mates. Here you have several options. The first one is to select the surfaces or sketches, planes, or whatever you want to use to create mates. And these are the made types. The other way you can do is by using a quick mate. It works like adding relations in sketching. So let's, for example, add a mate between the right plane of this part and the right plane of the base. Let's select the right plane for the base and hold Control. Select the right plane of the jaw. And automatically, I will have these Greek mates menu here. I want these to be coincidence. Let's see what we can do with this jaw. If you want to collapse this menu, just hold Shift and then C. I can see that this jaw can move upwards and downwards, left and right. So I want it to be symmetrical position between these 2 surfaces and these 2 from the base, so I can just select these 2 surfaces while holding Control, and these 2 in SolidWorks will offer this with mate. If I make a cross-section on this surface, you will be able to see when I look up that this width here and this width here are the same on both sides. We can hide this drop-down menu. I will make a cross-section on this surface again. And look at the part from the top view. As you can see, I have a collision between the jaw and the base. This is because I left this jaw width too big. Let's turn off the cross-section and open a jaw. I can right-click here and open the part. I will change the total width of this to 18, click Rebuild, and double-click inside of this area and change it to 12.5. Now this is much wider. Let's go back to the jaw assembly. Let's make a cross-section here again to see if we have fixed the problem. Let's look above. We don't have any collisions. Part is still not fully defined. I can move it upwards and downwards as much as I want. The thing I want to do is to add a mate that will limit the movement of these jaws. As a result, the highest position will be this. And the furthest position from this point, for example, is somewhere around here. The way I can do it is by using a limiting distance. So let's select this surface here, and this surface while holding Control. This menu will appear as limiting distance. Let's select this. And for minimum, I will say, for example, 39. And for a maximum, 165, let's confirm this. And let's see what we have made. So this is the lowest it can go. This is the highest. This looks quite good. And now we don't have any sign next to this part called jaw. I can move it only in this range. Now we can add a pin here and here. Let's go to Assembly, Insert Component, let's select Pin, and put it just somewhere around here. I will hold Control, select these 2 cylinders, and make them concentric. Select this surface and this one, make it coincident. I still have a minus. This is because I can rotate this pin. You cannot see it, but it is rotating. I can simply select, for example, the front plane from the pin and the front plane of the assembly and make them parallel. I can click on this part and press Control and see somewhere in the modeling area, plus press Control and V. Right-click and hold a part and you can rotate it. I need it in this position, and let's add the same mates as we did for the other pin. This will be coincident. And we have to add one more mate to have this assembly for you to define. Let's save it. I forgot to add 2 holes in the jaw that are used for storing. So let's right-click on the jaw and open it. I will press space and look at it from this view. Let's go to Features, Hole Wizard. Let's see here. We have everything saved from our last Hole Wizard. Let's just go to positions like this surface here. And let's add 2 holes. I will draw a center line from the center of this rectangle to this point. Let's add another center line like this, making this center and this center coincident. Now I can connect these points here and create a smart dimension, for example, 35 millimeters. There we go. Let's go back to the assembly. So just select the part you want to go back to. We have these 2 holes, and I can copy another pin like this, rotate it a bit, and add the same relations we did for the previous ones. So these 2 surfaces are coincident. Rotate the part a bit. Now, let's use the right plane and the top plane of the assembly. Let's make another copy. So again, pull it a bit outwards, just hold it and pull it. These 2 surfaces make them coincident. Let's mate the right plane of the pin and the top plane of the assembly. We have one more thing to do. We have to insert another double pin as a limiter for the moment of this jaw in real life. So let's go to the Design Library, then Tools. I will use these pins. Let's use Tappert. And just drag this over here. It will ask me, what size do I want? I want it M4, and for length I will select 16 millimeters. I don't want any other pins. We can add a mate between the surface of the pin and this cylindrical surface. It can rotate and go back and forth. Let's make a relationship. Let's see what planes we have. For example, this one and the top plane of assembly, let's make them parallel. Now, I have to add one more mate here. So this here is 12 millimeters thick and the pin is 16. We're left with 4 in total. This means that from this edge to this edge, we have to have 2 millimeters, but I cannot select this surface. And this is for a distance made because this is some sort of cylindrical surface. I have to use a sketch that I can find here. Let's show this sketch. And there we go. Now we have a point in this sketch which we can use. Let's click on it, hold Control, and select this surface. And let's add a mate, saying this is 2 millimeters distance. Now we can right-click on this sketch and hide it. And there we go. We have a fully defined assembly. I hope you liked this tutorial, and I'll see you in the next one.